Hi everyone, N.A.T here, and today I'm going to show you how to use OTT in order to understand if your sound is missing either highs, if your sound has enough highs, and if your sound is compressed enough. In other words, how to use OTT kind of as a reference in your mixes, okay, in order to get good sounding mixing and mastering. So, what we're going to do, we're going to drop OTT on every sound and dial it to first to 100% to really hear what the sound is doing, and then we're going to dial it back to taste basically where we like it and where it sounds good in context with the track. But first, let me show you one thing. So let's deactivate all these OTTs I put on the track. So this is a track I made for this video, just a demonstration track, and it sounds like this. And while working on your track, you might want to use a reference track, okay? So let's listen to this reference track, and this reference track is one of my tracks. It's called Control, and it sounds like this. Okay, hope you liked it, but if we A and B between the reference track and our track here, what we notice is that our track, it's kind of missing highs. We could say it's missing highs, okay. That's the impression you might have, but it's actually also missing compression, okay. So let's look at span here. Okay, so usually what they tell you to look for in the spectrum is, if we look at the spectrum of this reference track, to look to where the bass is and the high and the highs, to where they are, okay. So they go up to about here, the bass goes up to about here, the highs go up to about here, and you also have a little bit of a dip here, which is present in order to make the bass more clear, okay? And you might think that you need to do the same with an EQ on your track that you're working on. And so you might think that you might need to do this, for example, on the master, to add more highs. And although it could give you a more similar result to your reference track, now we have more highs, okay? But there's still something missing. And what's missing is also compression. So the reason why I'm telling you to use OTT as a reference is because of how OTT is designed. OTT is designed in order to make, to balance out the lows and the highs and the mids. It compresses all these bands and brings them up to a kind of a flat level. It also gives you that dip in the mids, as you can see here. We have the highs and the mids like this. So it's kind of like a compressor and an equalizer together, and putting it on a sound will give you immediately will tell you immediately if your sound is missing, for example, either compression or high frequencies. So let's do this right now, and let's put OTT on each and every sound, and let's just do this. So let's open an OTT on this bass sound, for example. Let's start from this bass sound. Let's solo it. So without the OTT, it sounds like this. And with the OTT, it sounds like this. Okay, so this, of course, will sound over-compressed now. If you watch my previous video on compression, I explained when too much compression is too much, and when something sounds over-compressed, and that it sounds over-compressed because it gives you ear fatigue. So if you learned what over-compression, an over-compressed sound sounds like, you will recognize this here. Okay, now. But going all the way to 100% gives you also that contrast to your starting sound, which was so dull and it lacked highs and also some compression. So we can now put it to 100% and dial it back to where we think it sounds good in context with the track. So like this, for example, sounds good, and let's listen in context with the drums. Let's try again 0%. Let's go to 100. It's actually making the sound quieter, so let's make up for that loss in volume. Okay. Now we added that OTT sound that this sound was missing. Let's add OTT also on the synth sound here. Let me drop OTT here, and let's listen now to the difference before and after. So a very huge difference. Let's turn also down the volume a little bit. Okay, and now let's put it in context. Let's put the sound again in context with the rest of the track, and let's dial this OTT amount to where we think it fits best in the song. Again, this is over-compressed, like this. Like this, at 100% it's over-compressed. And around here sounds good. Perfect. Let's now delete these OTTs that I tried before. And also, I just saw this, that I put a high-pass filter here on the synth sound after the OTT, because the OTTs brings up a lot of low frequencies that I don't need. Okay. Great. And now let's also put OTT on the master. Let's try it. To be honest, I usually kind of almost use OTT on the master to small amounts, but I do use it. And let's do this right now. So OTT at 100% will probably sound horrible on the master, which is to be expected, but still it will give you that aim, that point of reference, okay? Before, after. Okay, let's put it to where we think it fits best. without and with. So that's much better. And now let's map. I just want to do an A and B test to turn off all the OTTs and then turn them on again, so you can hear the difference, a before and after using OTT on the whole track. So before and after. Perfect. So now let's turn them off again and let's listen to this track and the reference track. So this track, and you will tell me which version that sounds closer to the reference track. The one version without OTTs or the version with the OTTs. So without OTTs. And now with the OTTs. Okay. Let's volume match it a little bit better. Okay. Great. So as you can hear, now the track sounds closer to my reference track because we used OTT. Okay. So OTT is important because it's used basically everywhere in modern music, and it really, by using it, you can really learn and train your ear to recognize that OTT sound. Okay, and you can dial it back from 100% to where you think it fits best. Sometimes you can also use it at 100% on some sounds. Like this, for example, might sound good, you know, on some tracks. So I even used it at 100%, but you risk putting over compression on your sounds. Yeah. Anyways, that was it for this video. I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any question, leave a comment. And thank you for watching, and see you next time.